So, you covered this a little bit. Why do we, or do you, organise in POC spaces specifically? And what brought you to creating or organising those spaces?
Well, I speak from Sisters Uncut, Sisters of Color, just from my experience. As Maria has mentioned, women of color, LGBT, they're disproportionately affected by structural violence of capitalism, disproportionately affected by domestic violence, for example. For me, I was interested in Sisters Uncut because it's one of the few organizations that call it out, that raise awareness of it. And for me, initially, I visited a few street stalls where a few Sisters Uncut members were hosting. And what I noticed was that at the front line of it, it was a white woman. So I didn't feel too confident to anyone or to make anyone comfortable at all. So I welcome that, the opportunity to organize, to set up these kind of spaces as well.
I think partly it's just because there has to be a moment that we've recognized that us as people of color, and for Black Lives Matter, particularly Black people, are able to create this transformation in the world that we want to see. So a lot of the history of anti-racism in this country and a lot of others, by no means all of it, but quite a lot of it, is white-led organizations making anti-racist, heading up anti-racist campaigns. And I think, just quite frankly, there's a lot of work that white people have to do before they can even begin to think of supporting Black people. There's a lot that they have to unlearn for themselves, and that's true of anyone who isn't kind of directly impacted by a form of oppression, I think. And you have to be willing to do that work, and you have to be willing to do that work and not take up the leadership positions. So just like on a really practical level, it's like, we've got this. Black people can lead in our struggles, and we do lead in our struggles. So why wouldn't we organise with one another?
More qualified.
The term like front line was mentioned, and at the climate march 2 years ago, we were using the term frontline communities, and in the context of what we're trying to talk about, the frontline communities are often indigenous communities, Black communities, and often it's women of color who are the first to fight and the first to be affected. But that's not what you see here. I feel like that's not what anybody sees. Our awful historical narrative that we're given, it doesn't show any radical people of color creating change. I feel like even the only people who are shown are one hero figure who changes everything suddenly, rather than all the work that is done over hundreds of years that is done by people who we never know. There's some amazing people that we do know, but there's also loads and loads of labour that goes into it. And I think all of that added up is it's like this, where it's the stuff that a single person, obviously who's very famous, does often. A small, sometimes very important catalyst. But and I was just going to say it's really important for representation, because the reason why a lot of people I work with aren't really bothered about creating change is because they don't see. That's not how they see. They don't see other Black people at protests or things like that. So.
Just
add like a quick thing as well to what I was saying, that I think there's a so there was like a very recent example of this actually. So the Afro-feminist collective in Paris and across France actually, Moissy, have a conference coming up, and recently the mayor of Paris called them out and said that because apparently they had an all black space, and it wasn't even the case that they had an all black space. And the white anti-racist organization that's like quite big and well funded and respectable in France, SOS Racisme, called it an abomination that these Afro-feminists were holding this space. And it like firstly leads to a kind of like inability to actually see racism when you when you're acting from the position of privilege of whiteness, and to see how you yourself participate in it. And secondly, it like requires all of these things that are actually really like denigrating and racist in and of themselves. So to use like terms like an abomination is like obviously the entire history of the oppression of black people is their dehumanization, and you have just participated in exactly that.
There was I think maybe 2 years ago, I think she was like a women's officer or a harvest. She's an activist. She's a woman of color, and she wanted to organize people of color or women of color only space at her university, and the white boys at university snitched to the right-wing press, but she was just dragged by the press for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and had to like quit everything, all the rest of it. So I think there's this resurgence of punishing people of color for wanting to organize in that spaces, which I don't think is just kind of like FOMO. I think it's generally like sabotage for organizing, because if a white person is in the space, then they begin to control the space, even if it's just one.
I just want to add that this is really about just empowering people of color at the end of the day. And it's also about trying to push back against this narrative of paternalism that we need a white person to come save us and all of that. We need it. This is really about empowering us. It's not about trying to hurt. It's not about hurting or white people and that, because the way how society is structured, structurally, it's about really pushing down people of color disproportionately, and we need to organize in spaces so we can feel empowered. We can feel empowered to push back against this disgusting system at the end of the day.
So this is a very, very vague question. What is decolonization? And it's vague because it's actually quite a complex question. I think it means something different to everybody, especially in what I consider to be post-colonial, not even that post context. Is decolonization possible? We'll start this really big topic. Don't have to answer it. Answer it.
I might say what sort of question. So, what activist science come down? Since we're so since we're at an event called Decolonise Fest, I think it's quite an interesting question, because I would say the most clear kind of decolonization I would think of would be a country like becoming, or a people becoming like independent of their like colonial masters, and often the way that takes shape is like them, the colonizers leaving and not having a stake in what goes on